Welcome to the update where we take you around the world to catch up on what's going on in the world around us. I'm Tiffany. It's never a dull moment around here at HYFN TV, so let's see what's going on in the haps with the maps. Now, eyes around the world have been on Brazil, along with social media companies, and of course the US, and that is where we are going to make our stop today. Former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva was re-elected this past October as president of Brazil amid high tensions between Lula and his supporters and former President Jair Bolsonaro and his supporters. To catch you up on some background in this part of the world, in the most recent elections, Lula ended up edging out Bolsonaro by 51% of the vote. With those results, uprisings and protests have begun taking place as the integrity of the election was being questioned by Bolsonaro and his supporters. Those who favor Bolsonaro gathered in masses and pushed past guards to occupy the Capitol, the presidential palace, and their Supreme Court. As you can see from the footage, windows were broken, citizens overtook the buildings, and people were detained. So far, over 1,000 protesters have been arrested and are being held in a local gymnasium. President da Silva has fired the head of security as some are insisting inside help was needed to accomplish this, and Brazil's Supreme Court seems to agree as they just ordered the removal of Brasília's governor. There have been reports of the police helping protesters as well, and multiple news sources around the world are comparing this to what happened here January 6th in the United States. There are similarities. Massive crowds protesting the current government with the belief that their elections were not held with integrity. Now, another interesting element coming out of this situation is the position Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, along with Google, which owns YouTube, making the announcement they will be removing content which backs the Brazil attacks on questions election integrity. The reasoning for this censorship is their promotion of violence policy. The question is, who determines this policy? Speaking out on election integrity, does that promote violence in their eyes? Censorship is a slippery slope on these platforms have grown in our society as a communication tool. When the company picks sides and leans on policy to promote one side over the other, they are no longer an independent medium that the public uses to communicate. It is now becoming a censored and biased platform. Let's compare that to what's happening as the Twitter files have been uncovering unimaginable election interference by these very same social media companies. Sadly, the Fifth Estate, our free and fair press, are barely covering the topic. Big tech and corporate media have shifted from holding truth to power and holding our electeds accountable to being concerned about controlling the national narrative. That's why we here on the update, we take you around the world just to tell you the facts and let you decide. Now keep in mind this race in Brazil between Bolsonaro and da Silva had the tightest election margin of victory in Brazil's history. Da Silva beat Bolsonaro by 1%. Now, while that is a majority, it is still slim majority. This means that the other half of the country chose Bolsonaro. If he feels he has been cheated, then he and his supporters have the right to peacefully protest their point of view. While we do not condone violence, it is to be noted that the social media giants are picking sides and not allowing both sides to speak freely on their position. Now, world leaders have been united in voicing their condemnation against the attacks, which included our own President Joe Biden, Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, the European Union foreign policy, and quite a few others. The fight for freedom and a democracy, or a version of democracy, is attempting to gain root in many areas of the world. Many see social media as a tool for free expression. It is our hope that it can be. Now, for you civic buffs here in the U.S., we just watched the U.S. House of Representatives go 14 rounds before electing a Speaker of the House. If you didn't catch it, here's the background. First, when elections were held this past November, U.S. citizens elected their state's congressman or woman for the U.S. House of Representatives. Now, this month, both parties joined together in the House of Representatives to elect a Speaker of the House. The Speaker is the third in line for the role of President, and they are the first most spokesperson for the majority party. Now, in this case, the Republicans are the majority party. The role is setting the agenda and prioritizing the agenda. They also oversee committee assignments and structure floor debates. Bottom line, the Speaker of the House is the big boss of this U.S. legislative body. They oversee everything, so no big deal, right? The Republicans, like I said, are the majority party at this time as they have 222 seats where the Democrats have 212. Americans just witnessed the Republican Party having a vigorous debate with nearly 20 of its members who believed that Kevin McCarthy simply wasn't the right person to lead them. After 14 rounds of voting, McCarthy won his speakership. Meanwhile, the Democrats continuously and unanimously nominated Hakeem Jeffries and felt that it gave them an opening to paint the Republican Party as disjointed. However, the Republicans believe this type of debate was exactly what makes our governing bodies in America great, and added they look forward to a more participatory U.S. House of Representatives this session with Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. And that's our trip around the world. I am Tiffany. If you would like to catch up on more news just like this, remember you can check out our on-demand section on our website at HYFN TV, or you can also go to Roku and look up HYFN TV. Bye for now.